kick of the ball by Didier Drogba. Yeah, it's the greatest night in Chelsea history. Champions of Europe at last.
Welcome to the Blue Stands podcast. We're back. We've been away for a couple of weeks and we have dropped the S in our name, but that's a long story. We'll talk about that another time. We are called the Blue Stand now. And yeah, we are here. And I've got myself a particular Blue Stand contributor, a Chelsea fan, whose name is Tunde. And hopefully we can talk about some really interesting topics over the next half an hour or so, and really try and make some sense out of some recent conversations. So first of all, Tunde, how are you?
Yeah, I'm absolutely delighted to be on the show today. Obviously, the talk is about the restart of the EPL. It's almost 8 weeks since the last ball was kicked in the league. And now all attention is definitely on June 17th when the league would start again with the game between Arsenal and Manchester City. But then I think I'm particularly excited because almost all our players are fit, and Chelsea looks like they would be a force to reckon with when the league starts.
Brilliant. You're very, very excited, which is great. So as you said, first thing we want to talk about is the Premier League being back. We've heard the news about it yesterday. So how do you feel? Do you feel comfortable that the Premier League is back, or do you feel that maybe it's a bit too early? Maybe it's not safe enough. How do you feel about that?
Well, you have to look at it holistically from the way things stand. We can't continue to be in isolation. We can't continue to be on lockdown. Life has to resume at a certain point, and football has to be back at a point. It started with the German Bundesliga, and I think the authorities have actually assessed everything that is happening carefully before arriving at this decision. Obviously, there wasn't contact training when they started, and now they've approved contact training again. So they are also saying by June 17th, hopefully, the rate of infection spread would have reduced drastically, and then the league will be able to go on as at then. Not to forget that there will be no, all games will be played behind closed doors, meaning that there are still some control measures put in place. So I think we are good to go, and the league should actually restart as soon as possible.
How do you feel about, I suppose, N'Golo Kante, who's not taking part? He's still a bit fearful about the whole situation. And most probably he might not be part of the squad when we restart because obviously, he's not training at the moment. So I doubt he's going to be back. How do you feel about that situation?
I think to start with, N'Golo Kante is one player that currently divides the Chelsea fan base. Some are of the opinion that, this guy is getting old. We could actually cash in on him, and we've got a younger player, a younger version of N'Golo Kante in Billy Gilmore. He could do the job and all that. But then I am still of the opinion that a good player is a good player. If he is worried about his safety and health condition, I don't think it's proper for us to force him to do what he isn't willing to do. Let's remember that he lost his brother just about 2 years ago to a heart condition, and I want to believe that all this would have formed part of his thinking when he actually spoke to the coach, and then he asked for permission to be excluded from training. So N'Golo Kante, we would be good without him. I'm very sure of that. He hasn't played so much this season, to be honest. And in the games when we have been without him, not as if we have really struggled. We have played well, but having him in the team is actually a plus. So N'Golo Kante's concerns, they are valid concerns. Troy Deeney also expressed the same concerns last week, but then he is back in training. So for N'Golo Kante, I think he would have ironed things out with Frank Lampard and the whole squad, and there shouldn't be ill feelings at all. I think we should just allow the young man be.
Brilliant. Yeah, I think you're right, man. I mean, if he's not willing to, come back because he's got some really big concerns, then we shouldn't force him to do so. I guess it's a bit of a shame for us, returning back and one of our better players probably not going to be available. But as you said, we have played without him most of the season, and it's not like we have done poorly either. Yes, there's been times where our team hasn't done well, but that's not purely based on him not playing. It's just based on the whole team not performing. So, look, he's going to be missed, but at the same time, we've got a deep squad to take care of. So completely I agree what you said. In regards to, our hopes of maintaining being in the top four, I suppose, it looks like the Premier League is starting. There's a big, massive chasing pack just behind us, Man United, I believe Sheffield United, Wolves, even teams like perhaps Arsenal, Tottenham, if they can get some wins. Yeah, Spurs, if they can get some wins under their belt. How do you feel? Do you feel with the remaining matches that we have? I think we've got match against Manchester City, maybe also a match against Liverpool in the Premier League, and the rest are quite, I suppose, generous, but at the same time, nothing is generous in the English Premier League. So how do you feel?
Well, to start with, I think we put ourselves in this situation, to be honest. I think the top four was up for taking. We should have wrapped this up a long time ago. But the bad run of form in December and January actually put us in a situation where the chasing pack came so close. We are only 3 points ahead of United as it stands. And United right now are in excellent form. So many of their players are returning. Marcus Rashford is back. They have Paul Pogba back, and this would actually give them much more confidence. And it would certainly influence their way of playing. But then we can't continue to complain about what could have been and what we would have done. We have to look forward. The run of fixtures, are they winnable? I would say yes, but then Chelsea have been unpredictable this season. There are times when you expect 3 points, but then they go on to lose such games or just get 1 point. And there are games when you expect that, these guys would lose this game, and then they have done exceptionally well for themselves. So I think it's just a matter of Frank Lampard finding the right balance, and the players have to be motivated themselves too. But I think it's doable. By the time we play Liverpool, they would have wrapped up the league, I believe. We got some really winnable games. Not to forget that United also may still drop some points. But we really need to be on our toes. Otherwise, some of these guys will catch up with us. And that would actually mean that the plans for Frank Lampard's season or his transfer plans would also be affected for next season.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I guess, you're spot on in regards to our fluctuations of form. We win one, lose one. Games that we should be winning, we end up not winning. Games we think we're probably not going to win, we end up winning. So, but then again, football's been away for almost 3 months. It's like a pre-season for everyone. So hopefully this will be like a fresh start again, and maybe we can, with everyone, as you said initially, that most of our players are probably going to be back from injury. Hopefully this will be a good news for us, and we can really put together a good performance in this final stage of the season. How confident are you in regards to our injured players coming back? You feel confident that they should be, up and running straight away?
Well, there isn't any certain rule that says when a player is injured for a long time or has been out for a long time, when such player returns, he would hit the ground running. First, it depends on body chemistry and it depends on the mental strength of individuals. We have had players who who get injured for a few weeks and then come back, they lose all their all their talents and the potential that they showed initially. I think we've experienced something like that this season. Emerson Palmieri, he started the season like a house on fire, but he got injured on international duty, and since then he has flattered to deceive. But there are also some players that they get injured, they come back, they still remain the same, they maintain the same standard. And when you look at the players that we had that got injured before the pandemic, Callum Hudson-Odoi was unavailable, Tammy Abraham was unavailable, Christian Pulisic was unavailable, even N'Golo Kante was unavailable. Not forgetting the fact that Ruben Loftus-Cheek hasn't kicked the ball this season. I think before the pandemic also we were without Matthew Kovacic, but to have all these guys back is certainly a plus. And I want to believe that they've had enough time to get their mental strength. They have had enough time to build their body physique. They've had enough time to improve their craft. And when the season restarts, they should come show us what they've got. I'm particularly impressed and excited about what we have in midfield. If all players are fit, I think Frank Lampard would have a lot of decision-making to do. You have a midfield of Matthew Kovacic, you have N'Golo Kante, you have Billy Gilmore, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Mason Mount. We have so many good players in the middle of the pack. And from the way Frank Lampard plays and he structures his team, he only picks 3. So it's left to be seen how he would choose and arrange his midfield, or which player would suffer for his decisions. But I want to believe that the players that we have are strong mentally. The players that were injured before the break are strong mentally, and they have the ability and capacity to hit the ground running when the league resumes.
Brilliant, man. So overall, how confident do you feel that we're going to end the season in top 4?
Well, I'm fully confident. I'm looking at the fixture list, and I think we've got so many winnable games. Also, I'm looking at the possibility of other teams dropping points. I mean, it's not undoable. We could win all our games. It's very much possible. But we also have to look at the chasing pack. They are really close. Sheffield United were very, very good before the pandemic. Manchester United also they hit a very good run of form before the pandemic. So we can only hope that these teams drop points and they stutter, or they lose some games after the league, when the league restarts. Well, I think I'm fully confident that we can actually grab the ticket, and then we can plan ahead for next season.
No, spot on, man. I'm confident as well, to be honest, that we can finish top 4. As you said, there are plenty of games that are winnable in our remaining matches. And the chasing pack as well, they've got to keep winning. So, it'll be interesting, as you said, with the Man United's form just before the lockdown. Even Sheffield United and Wolves, their form was pretty good. So everyone's back to square one. We've been away for 3 months, so it's going to be very, very interesting, hoping that we can carry on with our momentum just before the lockdown, where we were playing some really, really good football. So hopefully we can carry that on. So that's good. Look, let's wrap up that section there. It's good that Premier League's coming back, and it's good that both of us believe that they're going to be still in the top 4. So that's fantastic. Let's now talk about some transfer rumors in the recent few days, which has been hitting the social media world a lot. First of all, lots of talk about Kai Havertz. What's your feelings, man? You've been watching Kai Havertz much in recent times since Bundesliga started?
To start with, when signing players or before diving into the transfer market, you have to look at where you are strong and where you are weak. I have watched Kai Havertz play severally for Bayer Leverkusen, and to be honest, he is a very good player. And the fact that he's very versatile also makes me happy. He's left-footed, but he can play on the right wing. He can play from the center of the pack, which is equally very good. But do we have similar players? I think we do. We have players that can do the same thing that he does. That doesn't mean that if we see or if we find a player that is good enough to add quality to our team, we shouldn't bring him in. We've got. I'm looking at how we could line up next season, and then currently we would be without Willian and Pedro for next season. That means on the flanks we would have the likes of Callum Hudson-Odoi. We would have Christian Pulisic as our wingers. So we would need to bring in more players to come occupy those positions. Kluivert certainly fits the bill for me. He's nimble-footed. He's tricky. He's got guile and creativity. And I think his versatility could also help us in terms of formation changes and Frank Lampard's flexibility with playing pattern. He's a very good player, but we can only hope that Chelsea and Bayer Leverkusen can reach a deal that would favour both parties, because the way transfers work these days, it's quite unpredictable. Sometimes before the pandemic, we were told that we were in pole position to sign Alex Telles from Porto. But only yesterday we were hearing that he's on the verge of joining Paris Saint-Germain. So I want to believe that there are also other clubs looking at Kluivert also, and the clubs that would really want to have him in their ranks. Hopefully, we would act fast, and then we would have him in the bag before the next season resumes.
Yeah, fair enough. Look, to be honest, I don't really think that it's probably that possible to get Kluivert in the upcoming summer. He's quite expensive. He's not going to be cheap at all. I think he's got a few more years left in his contract with Leverkusen. Is going to be quite expensive, and I'm not really sure if we're going to spend that much money on one player in the upcoming window. But as you said, he's a really good player. He will serve Frank Lampard's purpose. You know, he's versatile, as you said, can play many different areas, and he's quite silky. So, yeah, look, it's a player that makes sense, but it's a transfer in this time with the pandemic, financial crisis. I don't know how much of a budget that we have to spend on one player when we have few other positions to look into. So, look, that aside, look, the player's fantastic. There's been a lot of talks about comparison now. The Chelsea football Twitter or even social media were really, really chasing Sancho not that long ago. But now with the looks of Kai Havertz, many people are changing their tune to from Sancho to Kai Havertz. They're going off the bandwagon of Sancho and now into the bandwagon of Kai Havertz. How do you feel about that?
To start with, I don't think I would want to compare both players because their mentality and the way they are wired are quite different. Sancho he has an English background, but to be honest, he doesn't play like a typical Englishman. He's very, very skillful. Same as Kluivert. If I were to choose one of these two players, I think I would actually go for Jadon Sancho. The reason is that I think Sancho has been under the tutelage of more experienced managers than Kluivert. So that would certainly have an impact on his football orientation and the way he performs on the field of play, especially when he transfers to a big team like Chelsea. That's not saying that Kluivert isn't talented. He's equally talented. If it were possible to have both players in our roster for next season, I think that would have made a whole lot of sense. But I think that would be possible because of the financial budget and financial implication of transfers these days. But Sancho is a very good player. But will he be coming to Chelsea? I think the chances of getting Kluivert are actually higher than the chances of getting Sancho, because with United running after him every now and then, it makes it difficult for the young man to make a decision on joining Chelsea, even if he is a boyhood Chelsea fan. So I think the board knows best, and Frank Lampard really knows what he wants. Not to forget that we are all speculating, but the whole decision lies with Frank and the transfer team. Whatever decision they arrive at, we can only hope that the player that they bring in would hit the ground running and would improve the Chelsea team.
No, for sure, man, for sure. For you, who is it? Is it Kai Havertz or Sancho? Who's your choice?
I would say Sancho. I would say Sancho.
Any particular reasons as to why you feel him over Kai?
Well, Sancho has played with some of the guys that we currently have in our team. They have played against each other, and they have played in the same team, whether in the national team or while growing up or while learning the trade. So I want to believe that would have a huge bearing on how well he performs. For Kai Havertz, coming in, it's a new league, it's a new country. He's a young boy. He will need time to adjust. It's not easy. Although we have seen players moving from other leagues down to the English Premier League, and then they hit the ground running straight away. Christian Pulisic struggled a bit, even if Lampard tried to help him adjust into life in England. But you look at a player like Bruno Fernandes. He came in from Portugal down to Manchester United, and immediately he's firing on all cylinders. For Kai Havertz, we can't really compare because the mentality is different. For Bruno Fernandes, he is much more mature. He has played so many games in his career, compared to a player like Kai Havertz, who is only 21. So he still needs to grow and he still needs to learn. Those kind of transfers are a huge risk. If the player performs, it's a plus. But if such a player fails to deliver, then when you have to sell him, you have to take a huge loss on him. That reminds me of Ousmane Dembele when he moved from Dortmund to Barcelona. It's quite similar. He was very young then, 2021, moved into Barcelona. Now Barcelona are willing to sell him for very little amounts compared to for how much they bought him. So this kind of transfers are a huge risk. They have to be carefully. Those decisions have to be carefully taken and well planned. But I think for me, I would definitely go for Jadon Sancho, even if he will be more expensive.
No, well said, man. Well said. Look, yeah, I'm a Jadon Sancho fan. Look, nothing against Kai Havertz. I think Kai Havertz is a fantastic player, and he's going to be a fantastic player moving forward. One of the very important players for Germany. But for me, Jadon Sancho is just so lethal in that wing area. So many goal involvements, assists, goals. So many. He's just so lethal in wing. So I think him coming into Chelsea is just going to turn us into a different monster. But as you said, don't know if this is going to happen. Looks like Man United's really after him, but then again, he might even stay this season at Dortmund, and we can see what happens next season. Hopefully, he continues the way he is. Now, moving on to the next and the final part of this conversation, let's talk about Ousmane Dembele. You touched on him a little bit. That Barcelona has dropped the price on Dembele. There's been a lot of rumours, bit of split decisions within the Chelsea community. Some want him, some don't want him. I personally don't want him if it's a buy option. If it's loan, maybe, but then again, I'm a bit worried because the player is just so injury prone. How do you feel about this particular player with the price tag and the injury history?
Ousmane Dembele, he has the talent. But there is nothing you can do if you are injured. Jack Wilshere was always going to be, when he was younger, he had this bright future. He was certainly going to be the next big thing for the English national team. But he never really hit those heights because of injuries. You look at the number of injuries Ousmane Dembele has had in his career, and then you begin to wonder if this guy would actually live up to the hype and if would actually hit those heights that we expect of him. He's got the talent. The few times he's played for Barcelona, the few games he's played for them, he hasn't done badly, to be honest. But it's a very big gamble. Spending so much money on him would not make any sense for me. If it's if we would be having him on loan, that would be better. But who is he coming to replace, and what is he going to add to the team? That's the question. And even if he's coming on loan, he still wouldn't come cheap, because he earns so much in Barcelona. And if he's willing to take a pay cut, or if Barcelona are willing to pay certain part of his loan fee, that would make things easier. But I certainly don't want Ousmane Dembele and Chelsea. Nothing personal though, but I don't think that's what we should be looking for if we want to challenge the likes of Manchester City and Liverpool.
Yeah, that's honestly, that's my thoughts as well. I feel like, yeah, okay, we definitely do need another winger. I feel we are one winger short. Yes, other players can fill in, but I think it's good to have another winger. But you know, someone who's always injured, like I'm always going to be having to be worried with his health, which is not going to be, ideal. You know, we've already got Ruben Loftus-Cheek who struggles with his health, and we have to monitor him and make sure we have the right sort of plan for him week in, week out. Then you throw in someone like Ousmane Dembele, who will have to do the same thing. And I'm not even sure if he's fit at the moment. And
no, he's injured.
He's still injured. There you go. So he's still injured. So, you know, it's not ideal. It's definitely not ideal. I can understand some people are saying that let's take the gamble. If he does well, he's fantastic talent. He'll do really, really good for us. I get that. But I feel we are not in a position to gamble right now. Do you think we are in a position right now to gamble on him?
No. It doesn't make sense. If you look at the great Chelsea teams that we've had, the Chelsea teams that have dominated the Premier League, I remember we've always had fantastic players on the wings. And there was a time we had Damian Duff, Ian Robben, Joe Cole as wingers. Now, there was a time when Florent Malouda was commenting the wings, and we also had Nicolas Anelka playing from the flanks also at times. That really helped us so much. Coming down to this present generation, yes, we have players with potentials, but they are not yet what we expect them to be. So bringing in another player to that position, we should actually be looking to bring in an established player, or someone that these younger guys can learn from. Not a player that wouldn't be available most of the time, like Ousmane Dembele. For me, making such a transfer decision wouldn't make any sense financially and sporting wise. I don't think it's right.
Yeah, makes sense, man. I think that's my feeling as well. I know a lot of people were saying that they'll take the gamble, but you know, as you said, he's still injured, so there's not really much of a gamble to take. So, look, overall, I think what I've got from you is you're excited that the Premier League is back. You believe we can still be fourth. You like the hype about Kai Havertz, but however, Sancho is your man still, and Ousmane Dembele is not the right man for you right now, and it's not the right man for Chelsea to gamble on. So overall, look, man, we've had a really, really good conversation, covered quite a few things. Tell us a few things about yourself before we end. You know, what do you do? What are you going to be up to in the next few days? Just let us know what's happening.
Okay. I've been a Chelsea fan since 2003. And that's one fun fact. I'm
Nice.
Nigerian, obviously from my name, you would know. I think the game that actually lured me to Chelsea was the 2003 Champions League game between Chelsea and AS Monaco, and that was when I fell in love with this team. Also, I'm a software engineer. I'm a web developer.
Nice.
I code a lot. I'm a programmer. So that's just me. That's basically who I am.
That's fantastic, man. That's good to know. Look, lovely having a conversation with you, and hopefully everyone who's listening enjoyed a little bit about that, and you got to know a little bit about Tunde as well, and you got to know a bit about his opinions of some of the recent matters. So yeah, until next time, everyone, have a really, really good day, and let's look forward to the Premier League's return.